federal government, it is facing a potential challenge in the marketplace from millions of computer users who are fiercely loyal to something called Linux. Steve Young has the story.
Microsoft's Windows owns the PC desktop, but another operating system owned by nobody, Linux, has displaced Bill Gates' product in parts of many businesses. One of them is Cisco Systems. It's using Linux to operate 102 print servers around the world.
We really liked the flexibility of it because it allowed us to actually open it up and tinker with the insides to make something that was exactly customized to our needs.
Linux is not only flexible in its basic form, it's also free. It's the best-known example of so-called open-source software. Linux was developed by hundreds of enthusiasts. Companies like Red Hat and Caldera sell easier-to-use versions and offer support. According to the Meta Group, there are now 4 to 5 million Linux users, most of them using it to run servers, versus 6 million computer servers now running on Windows NT. Users added Linux to 750,000 more servers last year. In the same period, Windows NT servers grew by more than 1.5 million. One of Linux's advantages may be that it takes Microsoft, on average, 2.5 years to bring a new version of its operating system to market. Linux is constantly updated.
I can send out a message asking for certain features in the operating system, and I'll get hundreds of responses. That's a very dynamic model that Microsoft can't compete with.
The competitive picture is very different with desktop PCs. Linux has just 1 million users, if that, compared with 30 million or more for Windows NT. That could change, but slowly. San Jose, California today hosted the first Linux conference ever for non-nerds. One of the nagging problems, a lack of Linux desktop applications. Keynoter Michael Kaupland said his company, Corel, will have a full Linux suite of applications by the end of the year.
And during '98, we saw the major hardware vendors adopt Linux as one of their platforms. We think this year will be the year of the applications. We're porting all of our applications over to Linux.
Most people still find Linux just too complicated to install or use. But a project called GNOME hopes to do for Linux what the graphical user interface, or GUI, Windows, did for the disk operating system DOS. Make it more digestible. Starting tomorrow, a complete Linux interface will be available free on the internet.
Microsoft is well aware that another GUI in a browser named Mosaic made the internet accessible to the masses, and that spawned one of Microsoft's toughest competitors, Netscape. Lou?
So would you say that tonight in Redmond, Washington, Bill Gates, Steve Ballmer, and all of their colleagues are just sort of quivering in their boots?
I don't think they're quivering in their boots, but I think they are paying careful attention.
Well, no, give me a range. Careful attention to quivering in your boots.
Well, certainly at the antitrust trial, they listed a whole bunch of formidable threats. This, I think, is the most credible one. They are paying attention.
And the growth pace here is impressive for Linux.
The trajectory is sharper than NT, but of course they're starting with a smaller base.
And of course, a somewhat smaller marketing budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Well, coming up next here on Moneyline,